quick tip here, save you some money from buying these aluminum thingies. I forget what they're called. I'll show you some here in a minute. But just drill a couple of holes, and you can save on T-post too, and just drive this T-post in at the ground on an angle so you can see for corners, for T-post corners, so you don't have to do wood. And they're really solid, so you could see one over here that I did, and that's done because I had some of those brackets that you put on to put them on angles. So those work pretty good, but they're kind of flimsy, and so I don't have any more. I ain't gonna buy any, and this is much cheaper. I had these bolts laying around here, and so I just drilled a couple of holes in there. And first I put it in on an angle, and then you figure out where you're going to do. Then you pull the post back a little bit, you know, so it's got some tension on it when you get the bolt through it. It's pretty simple, and bolts are a lot cheaper than those things. Those things were like 20 bucks for 2 corners, or 25 bucks if I remember right. Okay, there you go. I got the corner braces on, and you can see this thing is not moving. Not moving, so you can stretch your fence nice and tight. Although being a former fence contractor, most people try and stretch their fences too tight. There's a sweet spot there where it's nice and tight, but it's, you know, it's not so tight that it's bending posts and causing other problems and stuff. So especially with T-posts, because T-posts actually bend fairly easy. So, but you brace this up, you can see it's not going anywhere. So I can pull the fence this way, and it's going to turn a corner right here. So it'll pull that way towards that one, and those are braced up, and then it's braced over on that end over there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't really see it. But, so let's see, there we go. So we're cutting this out. We knocked a lot off of here and sold it to our sister-in-law. Okay, so here's the angled brackets that I'm talking about that you can buy for these, but they're really expensive. You put another T-post in down there. They work pretty good. So this thing is nice and solid. But, jeez, it's 20 bucks. 20 or 25 bucks, at least last time I bought it. Might be more now for these, and I ran out of them, so I just put a bolt down there, and that one right there, see, bolts are a lot cheaper, and a good drill bit. This steel's pretty hard to drill through, so you need a good drill bit to do it. What I do is I use a small drill bit to punch a hole through, and then I use a step bit to make the hole big enough for the bolts. And I have these bolts laying around. They're probably a little bit too long, but what the heck, they work, and they might lay around for another year or two, so I might as well use them. So, and that's what and so this is what your corner looks like. So okay, so here's the finished corner on this. You got this way and then this way. Okay, and so it goes into the ground over here and over here. You usually got to pound them in with a sledgehammer, because you can't use the T-post pounder. But here's the finished fence. We'll go look at the other corners here. This is old fence that I used to stretch across this, and we got some hot wire here to keep the animals off the fence. Cows and horses mainly. They don't usually bother it that much. And so here's the finished angled bracket. So, but at the bottom I bolted it to the T-post. T-post instead of using the brackets, because I ran out of brackets, and I already had the post pounded here, so I just bolted it at that post. But as you saw from the previous corner, I just pounded them into the ground, and so that just saves you on these brackets. You know, you just put instead of the brackets here, which they work okay, but I've had them bend a little bit here and there depending on the situation. But it saves you a lot of money. I think they were like 20 or 25 bucks, like I've said, and a couple of bolts are next to nothing. Drilling the holes, if you can, here's a tip: if you can drill the holes on ahead of time, you know, you can kind of mark them and do it on a drill press. It's easier. So if you drill them out in the field here, since the post can move, it's harder, and the drill bit, you know, you'll wear out your drill bit. I would suggest a cobalt bit, and we'll go look at this last one here. So I ran out of old fencing, and so I ended up having to buy some and I've used it for something else. And so this is a new fence, and so you can see it's actually stretched, you know, nice and tight, but not too tight. And then, so this is an easy way to make braces for T-post. You know, if you're going to do a really long stretch of fence, you might want to use some wood post braces or whatever. But this is a bracket here also. And then, you know, and I had a bunch of T-posts laying around too, and some of them from moving this fence. So we cut off an acre for our stepsister, and they built a house over here, and so the acre pushed out onto part of the pasture. So anyways, that'll save you a lot of money, especially, you know, if you're doing pins and different things. You can save a lot of money. I mean, it doesn't look as pretty if you have nice wooden braces. You know, you have like using 3 round posts, wooden posts or something to make your nice braces. If you want to do that, that's fine. But you know, for making pins, this braces it really nice. See, this thing, it won't move at all. I mean, it's solid. So some people brace them from one straight across the top, but I think the angle brace works better.